Welcome to Alex. Alex just closed on his house.
Woo! Yes, I am so excited. That was one heck of a transaction to protect everyone involved. We'll just say it was a rocky road, but we got to the finish line.
Yeah, so tell me about the rocky road. Because this is fun, because we haven't really... Alex just walked in and I said, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
So here we are.
So, for us, I think the rocky road started when we were deciding whether or not to sell the house.
Yeah.
Like every single home purchase for us has been a huge milestone. And so when you sell the home, now you're saying, okay, this milestone is officially over and I'm moving on to the next chapter. And Reading was a huge blessing to us as a family. And so selling the home was a very emotion-driven decision. Now we made it after looking at the logic and the facts, but there was a lot of emotion tied into it. And then during the process of selling the home, we were so blessed that, we didn't really have to wait long to find a buyer because the person renting our home was the one that ended up buying the home. So praise God for that. But it was smooth until it wasn't smooth, right? It was like everything was good until, we hit a certain point in the transaction and a couple of things came up that it got some of our emotions going again. And it was like, oh my gosh, I'm already kind of not excited about selling the home because of the emotions around it. And now the process is becoming a little rocky. So it was, I'm glad that we did it though. And I'm glad we got it to the finish line. So, but I think if anyone's watching this going, I just can't sell my home. I've got too much emotions tied into it. It means too much to me. I would just encourage you that I think the next stage, at least for the Branning family, I think the next stage in our growth and the next stage into our future promised land, I don't think we could get there by keeping one foot in the old promised land.
That's good.
I think we got to go to the new place.
Tell me about that. That's interesting.
For me, we live in New York City now, and one of the hard parts about living in New York City for me has been building a community. And in talking to friends and a therapist, one of the biggest things that came up is that I still had one foot in Reading and one foot in New York City. I was, I didn't want to leave Reading because of all the great memories that we had, all of the fun things that we did out here and the breakthroughs that I had. It felt like I was like turning my back on it, and a friend of mine was like, no, you're just entering a new promised land, but to get into it, you gotta take your foot out of the old promised land so that you can actually walk in the new for yourself and for your family, for your business, and so a big part of that for me was letting go of the house. And so now that the house is gone, I literally have the check in my car right now. So it's done. Now that that's done, now it's like I'm completely separated from Reading, not that I can't come back and visit, but I don't have a part of me in Reading anymore. So now I am going to be focusing on making the new promised land, New York.
Yes.
And
you're not running. What one great thing is I know about you is you're not running from something. Like some people are running from something. You're running to something.
Yeah. We felt the Lord.
Reading's still here, but you're running towards something.
Yeah. For us and our
Which
family.
is super healthy, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. We felt like the Lord invited us to New York City. There's a huge harvest field right now, and there's just not a lot of laborers in New York City. And so, we feel like it was an invitation from the Lord. Like, hey, do you want to take part in what I'm doing in New York City? You're invited to do that. And I've been having a difficult time really going all in, jumping in with both feet. And so for a variety of reasons, but, when it came to selling the home, then it was like, oh shoot, do I really believe that the Lord has what's best for me in New York City? Because I know he had the best for me in that season of life in Reading. Even though it was hard to move here at first, it wasn't as hard for me as it was to move to New York. Because I was ready and I knew what Reading had to offer. I didn't know what the Lord had to offer for me in New York City.
Which you've already moved there, so just so people know context.
Yeah.
You've already been there 2 years, right?
Correct. We've been there 2 years. We've lived in the apartment in New York City, but we still had the house. It was kind of like a fallback, and I feel like, for us, we needed to get rid of the fallback plan and just stay solely focused on New York City and finding what the Lord has for us there and building a community.
And now that you've been there 2 years, what's the mission there?
Continuing to really build a community. I think Kathy's thriving out there. My wife, Kathy, is thriving out there. She's doing great. She's building up a feminine discipleship group, which is awesome.
And they aren't just identifying as feminine, they're actually feminine.
Yes.
Okay.
New York City, yeah. But, for me, I think it's about really diving into building a community out there of other guys that I can be discipled by, and then also disciple others as well.
Nice.
And so, it's just different in New York City,
What's it look like? What's disciple look like in New York?
Yeah. So in New York City, we're comparing Reading to New York City, and Reading has done a great job of identifying and living in a state of rest, knowing that the Lord will provide for you, right? Which is beautiful. There's some extremes to that, I think, that we found, but in Reading, rest we figured that out. New York City has no clue what rest looks like.
Which is fun.
Yeah, the hustle culture and the work is nonstop. And for me, I love it. I love work. I love what I do. And so I just fit right in. It fits like a glove. But building community in that state of hustle is very hard because you don't want to stop. You don't want to slow down. Right. You want to work. You want to chase your dreams. And if your dreams are not being discipled, and not very many people have a dream and a vision of finding an accountability partner, then they don't want to take the time for that, and they don't want to make it a priority. And so, it's difficult to find that. And friends are difficult too. If you're not working with someone or in the same field, it can be difficult to make the time for good friends. There are some great guys in New York City. I don't want to make it sound like there's not. It's just the way that we hang out and the way that we build a relationship is very different in New York City compared to what I've experienced in Reading and even what I experienced living in Southern California. It's a very fast paced. So, but also very collaborative. So one of the things that, to kind of go off on a rabbit trail real quick, one of the things that I found in New York City that they do really well is they encourage you, they uplift you, and they want to help you because there's a mindset of unlimited. There's this unlimited success mindset. Like your success, JR, doesn't take away from my success. And so if I know where you're going, then I want to help you get there. Yeah. Because if you get there, that doesn't detract me from getting to where I want to go. And so there's a huge collaborative environment, which is, great for making friends in the workspace. Making friends in the church space has been my specific challenge. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. And so now you've got this collaborative discipleship thing that you're working on.
Yep.
What does that practically look like for you now? You're going back there.
Yep.
What's a day? We getting back Thursday, Friday?
Yeah, getting back Friday.
So Friday you arrive back. How's that start looking to become a discipler of people men inside New York?
Yeah. So in the church, it's about serving. Outside the church, it's about being a friend to the people that I come across every day, whether it's somebody at our gym, whether it's somebody in WeWork, the co-working space I work out of. It's about identifying who do I feel like the Lord is guiding me to, and just being a friend to that person and letting the relationship build from there. And so, it's a little tricky because that's not normally how I build friends. I usually do it if we're in the same room, going in the same direction. But, at the gym, because there's just so many people in New York City, you don't see a lot of the same people. And so you got to kind of go out on a limb because, I maybe seen this person 2 or 3 times, and now I want to go over and say hi and introduce myself. And that's not normal in the gym culture. And at WeWork, most of the time we get there and we're working. And so it's about me stretching myself, and I'm an extrovert, but it's about me stretching myself and reaching out and making those connections, even though it feels uncomfortable. And so it's for me, it's difficult. It's not normal for me to do that. So, yeah.
Fascinating, because I talked to you about Dream Builder games.
Yes.
And the rabbit trail actually landed where I'm thinking, this would be a great way to bring in the Dream Builder games into the church as well as your community.
Yes.
Because it's all about collaboration.
Yes.
It's about innovation, hearing from God,
Yep.
And making these things happen as a group versus you on your mission because you heard from God, you're going to go save the world by yourself.
Yeah.
I don't see that happen.
Doesn't happening. No, absolutely not.
So it sounds like the perfect environment to launch something like that.
Dream Builder games would thrive in New York City.
Did I send you the schedule itinerary that we're going to be doing in Homer, Alaska?
Not yet.
I will send it to you.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Dream Builder Games is going to thrive in New York City because it fits so well into the culture of New York City as a whole. Collaboration, yes. Innovation, we love it. Investing in others, yeah. Oh, let's open the checkbook and see who we can serve and support with our resources, So it's a perfect fit.
Wow. So amazing. So that's just amazing. We will definitely spend some time later doing this.
Yes.
Like getting that done. So you're now raising, you're raising your family there.
Yep.
And are you going to buy a house?
Probably not. So,
and I want people to hear this because we've talked a little bit. Why not?
Yeah.
Because I would always say yes, but now I agree with you.
Yeah. So in New York City, I think the housing prices are inflated. And for us, we don't know how long we're going to be in New York City. And so, I don't believe in timing the market. I think only a fool tries to time the market, but I can look at New York City and go, based on what I can pay in rent compared to what I'd pay in a mortgage, and then taking into consideration how long we're going to be here, I just don't think it's the right move for us. I want to hold on to my capital for when we decide to buy a home in wherever we land. Now that could be in New Jersey, which is right across from New York. That could be in Connecticut, which is just a short train ride away from New York City. But we're going to hold on to our capital for now and just continue renting, even though the rental prices in New York City are crazy. We pay $6,000 a month for a 1,200 square foot apartment. So yeah, it's pretty brutal, but we love where we live.
You're living right in the hub.
2 buildings away from the stock exchange.
Yeah.
So literally right there. Yeah. Yeah. Tourists are outside of our building all the time, which is fun. So, it's a pretty cool spot, but we're not going to buy a house there.
So that $6,000 apartment, what would that sell for?
If we owned it, probably close to, I would have to guess 1.5.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't know.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
To buy or sell. Buy on that.
Yeah. So I know people who are looking to buy in New York City, and what they've said is that their mortgage will be higher than the rent.
Yeah.
And so now that won't be true. If you were to buy and hold for a couple of years, then the prices will continue to go up and it'll make sense.
And their conventional mortgage there would require an enormous amount of, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense for now. So we are definitely looking to buy a home in the future, but it's just not a New York City apartment, at least not at the moment. So.
Yeah. So in Hong Kong, where my wife's from, just saw the rents there were about $2,000 for a 500 square foot flat.
Wow.
That was, I think it was $1.5 million to buy.
Jeez, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Yeah.
That's the silliest thing. And then you add the politics on top of that. It wouldn't make any sense to buy there.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Rent
that's
sounds
crazy.
really good.
Yeah.
So there's times where it doesn't make sense to buy. You bought a property here.
Yep.
And what happened there?
Oh, it was great. It appreciated. It was beautiful. I have, we sold. I have a check in my car, which is more than what we put down. So it was a great investment. I think Reading is going to continue to be a great investment. The housing prices are a little soft right now, so it's a great time to buy. And I think the housing is just going to continue to go up. So the only thing that we'll have to figure out as a state is the insurance piece, but I'm confident they'll figure it out soon. Right now it's difficult, but they'll figure it out.
What I love about the federal pressure now coming is actually the federal pressure is actually causing places like here to actually make sense again.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like we actually have leadership again.
Yes.
And I'm saying in where we're at here, whether you're Republican or Democrat, left or right, people are going, oh, good. That makes more sense.
Yeah, the insurance out here was nuts. I remember when we had a hard time just trying to get insurance, and we had lived in the home for years, and there was nobody that would insure us. None of the big ones, because they left the state. And so we had to go with some no-name insurance company. And I'm like, hope if anything happens, they have the capital. Like, didn't make me feel good, you know? So praise God, nothing happened. But the buyers were having a hard time finding insurance. So they'll figure it out though, JR, but they'll figure it out.
So speaking of insurance,
yes,
that seems to be your wheelhouse. You're not in the insurance industry. Tell people what you actually...
I build software for insurance agents, which is one of the most nerdy little niches to be in, but I love it so much. I love what I do. I love the insurance agents that I serve, and I love the business that I've been able to build. So it has been such a fun ride. Software has been my game since I was 17 years old. I started as a freelancer I loved to code. I was a nerd who loved to code at 17. And so that business has grown. I absolutely love it. Now I have a team of almost 20 people that help me with this. We serve thousands of insurance agents all across the country. We're continuing to see a lot of growth in that area. It's a growing niche. We have a large footprint, but the amount of room for us to grow is enormous. And so, yeah, it's a ton of fun. So I know the insurance space really well, even though I'm not an agent, because I serve so many insurance agents and they tell me about what's going on. So it's a fun world to be in, JR. I love business and I love software, and now I love insurance.
What's your software do?
We own Agent CRM. That's our big cash cow. So Agent CRM is a marketing and sales platform for insurance agents. Our goal is to help our insurance agents maximize the value of every lead they have by helping that lead get on their calendar. And then we ask for referrals using automated email marketing campaigns. And then we also introduce other insurance products that the client might be interested in to give the insurance agent a chance to make additional sales for every person that comes through their door. And so a lot of times for us as salespeople, because I'm a salesman, JR, so a lot of times we almost forget to ask for the referral. You know, it's like, oh shoot, I need to call and ask. You know, you do a great job of that, but for me, it doesn't come as naturally as I've noticed.
I don't do it as good as I should. Yeah, honestly,
you do a great job. You do a great job. And then cross sell. I mean, for you, it's a little bit different because, you know, in real estate, you know, the product is homes. And so, but for somebody like an insurance agent, typically there's multiple lines of insurance that they can offer, right? So like the guy who sells my home insurance also does car rental, you know, things like that. There's multiple ways he can help me. So most insurance agents can serve you in multiple different ways, but they don't remember to ask. You know, they'll sell the one thing, like the home insurance, and then they'll just forget to tell you all the different ways that they can help. I do have a funny story about that. One of my buddies, he was a real estate agent, actually.
Really?
And he called me up and he was like, I got a situation and I just need your advice on how to handle it. And on his Facebook page, he's always talking about how he's an insurance agent, but he's always talking about the homes that he's listing for sale. And one of his very best friends called him up and was so excited and said, oh my gosh, I just bought my first home. And they're like in the same city, right?
Oh, no.
And he's like, wait a minute. What do you mean you bought your first home? He's like, oh, and he like goes through the story and he's excited and he's calling his friend to celebrate, thinking he's going to be like super happy for him. And he's like, why didn't you call me? And the guy's best friend says, I only thought that you sold homes. He didn't know that you could do both. And so often we also forget that people don't know the ins and outs of our business, you know, and that we can help in all the different ways of the transaction. That's a funny example for real estate, but for insurance, a lot of times the people that we serve do not know all the different ways that we can help them.
Yeah.
And so if we don't tell them, then we can't be mad if they don't come to us for that business. So
funny story. Similar to that, where a client came in and wanted to know how I got all my homes. What are you talking about? Well, you have all these homes for sale. How did you buy them? I actually represent the seller. I didn't buy them. They're not my house.
You're this real estate magnate, you know?
I just help people. buy and sell.
Nice. Yeah. So we always assume people know our business,
Right,
but the
yeah.
reality is they just, they don't. And so we live it every single day, like in the software space, I live it. So for me, it's secondhand, but
Yeah.
For people that are in my world, they don't really know the ins and outs.
So you get this world right now that is crazy busy.
Yeah.
They're consumed with everything they're doing. And now how do you help people who are incredibly busy, self-absorbed,
Yep.
doing their own thing with the distractions of social media? How do you get their attention to show them what you do?
Oh, online. Yeah, great question. So my best online marketing campaign right now is a video of me. It's a selfie video of me just talking to them. And I'm like, hey, I help insurance agents do this. And and if they watch past that first 1.5 seconds, then they're interested.
Wow.
Now it doesn't mean they'll click the link, but it means that I've got their attention and they're interested. Now, the reason why that's so important, JR, is that Facebook's algorithm is listening for who is the people that are watching this ad video that Alex posted. Because they want me to be successful on their platform. Because if I'm successful, I'll keep spending money, right? And so if the viewer watches past that 1.5 to 2 second mark, Facebook calls that a through play. Now that's really important because then if I say I want this video to have as many through plays as possible, not as many impressions, like not the people who see it, but the people who watch it past a certain point, then Facebook, by identifying the commonalities of the people that watch 3 seconds or 2 to 3 seconds, will start to put my message in front of my ideal buyer. Because they go, okay, we're going to put this video in front of more people that resemble Insurance Agent John and Insurance Agent Mary that finished watching this video.
Yeah.
And so then the segment of people that my ad is shown to become more and more narrow, putting me in front of more and more of my target audience at the same price that I'm currently paying. And so video has been a great advertising medium for me, and it continues to generate great results. The other thing that I do is, so I use those videos as my tip of the spear marketing campaign. And then I create a retargeting audience, which means that these are people who have engaged with a part of my content or been to my website, and now I'm going to show them more stuff. And in my retargeting, I'll share success stories and I'll share endorsements of industry leaders who have said good things about Agent CRM, building the trust, sharing the stories of people that have had success. And so now someone who watched that video, again, most likely they didn't click, but they got interested. And so now I just flood them with how cool is Agent CRM, and they can't go anywhere on Facebook, Instagram, or whatnot without seeing one of my ads probably once a week.
Wow.
And so I really build up my brand by repetition, because most people, the first time they see Agent CRM, they aren't interested. And so the life cycle for my customer is about 3 to 6 months before they actually start a free trial. They see my messages for 3 to 6 months, which is a long time. It's a lot of money to get them in.
Yeah.
But it works. It works for me because by the time they come in, they have belief, they have trust, they've seen a lot of the testimonials, and they go, I think Alex's software can help me.
So what's the return on investment for so you're paying for Google ads, YouTube ads, Facebook ads?
Right now I'm just doing Facebook.
Okay.
And so the economics are tricky. So for me, I have a 14-day free trial offer. And then after the 14 days are up, they pay the $97 per month. And so I won't see any money until 2 weeks from after they initially sign up. And not everyone stays the course for that first 2 weeks. So if I can get a sign up for $50 or less out of my pocket, then that is a great return on investment for me, because about half of them will stay for the past the 2 weeks, which means I will break even 2 weeks from when they sign up, right? So it's at that point it becomes how much money can I spend to get my audience and to get people into my world. So yeah.
So
So video is the name of the game. If you're watching this and you're not using video
Right.
for your marketing, definitely start using video and use paid ads.
How I had a question and it just evaporated. But what email tool are you using?
I use my own. I use Agent CRM.
Okay, so that's okay.
Yeah, so we send out over. I think the last time I looked, we sent out over 250,000 pieces of email a month.
Wow, and you don't get blocked or anything.
I mean, I'm sure some people, we get a lot of unsubscribes, but we do a lot of email marketing to our list. We send a lot of value posts, which is just trying to educate our audience on, different things that they can do themselves.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of people that use the software, but most people on our list have either tried it and left, or they've just kind of like lurked around and they haven't tried yet. So we just continue to send them value posts so that they see Alex cares about me. He knows what he's talking about. And I continue to share success stories, building their belief to get them back in the door. But
So-
a lot of email.
Agent CRM. So the person is buying Agent CRM and it's helping them get also in the social media world with their client base, or how
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a social media scheduling tool inside of Agent CRM that they can choose to use as well. So most of the people that sign on are usually buying leads. That's very, very popular in the insurance space, is they buy leads. And so we have really built out a lot of automations and AI to help them turn more of those leads into appointments, and then like the referrals and stuff after the fact, after the sale. But we also have social media tools within the platform as well.
So the AI stuff now, I just saw where there's a place in Burma where they're using the AI, what's called deep fakes.
Yeah. Wow.
Where it could be you, but you're posing as a female. And you're actually going, and people are FaceTiming you on your phone, and you are communicating to them as a romance, engaging, building trust as a female with this person, and they're stealing all their resources out of their bank accounts.
Yes, that is an unfortunate reality.
It is wild. So that's the ugly of it.
It is.
What are some of the good things of it?
AI is going to help. The people that embrace AI are going to leapfrog the people that don't, because a lot of our time as entrepreneurs is spent doing tasks that are not revenue generating, right? And if we can replace us in those non-revenue generating tasks with AI, then we will be able to have more time to do the revenue generating tasks that help us build our business, right? It's the same reason why we delegate to employees, right? Because we're like, I don't want to spend the time to do this, so I want to bring somebody on my team that can do this for me so I can spend time growing my business. AI is the same. You can plug AI in to do a lot of the work in the business that is a non-revenue generating task. So for example, one of the exciting things that I'm seeing in the real estate AI space is an AI transaction coordinator that knows, okay, here's what's going on, and it'll send out, here's the daily tasks, and then people upload documents to the transaction coordinator. The AI will read it and then delegate the necessary bits of information to the right parties. And so the whole idea is where they're trying to, make it smoother, eliminate human error, and they're trying to make sure that more of the data gets into more of the right hands as quickly as possible. And so who knows how quickly that's going to be to a place where it's ready, but that's where they're going. On the insurance side, in my world, insurance agents use AI for communication, for follow-up, for customer support now. And the companies are using it to really get deep into analyzing risk. And so, before you would fill out information about, like, say, a life insurance policy, and they just have the information that's in front of them. But now with AI and just the vast amount of information that's out there, they can dig a lot deeper into who you are and your family history and things of that nature. I don't know if that's great for us as a privacy, like from a privacy standpoint, but from their risk assessment, it's a huge leaps and bounds for the insurance companies. And so it'll be interesting to see where they take it. But yeah.
I had a client, they're chemicals. So they do a lot of chemicals.
Yeah.
And one of the applications for AI was, instead of them doing the calculations for this chemical reacting with this chemical and this chemical, and they had AI calculate all the different variations of all these different things. And in 5 minutes, they were able to do what like a week's worth of work would do.
That's incredible.
I mean, that I can see that's
very exciting.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and there's so many positive uses of AI. I see a ton of really cool stuff happening in the healthcare space. You know, but you know, in our world, like, how is AI going to impact us? I think in the business side, it can get really exciting for replacing us and doing things that, you know, would take us a long time. Like some of the marketing stuff that I do for my company, it used to take me 2 or 3 days to write out a marketing plan and the blog post and the social media. And now, no joke, it takes me like 20 minutes to do some of these things because I can train ChatGPT with all of my knowledge about myself and my product, and I upload, you know, content that I've created before, and I can say, okay, make a blog post on this topic. Like I just did this morning. Make a blog post on how to market to leads that are turning 65 years old for Medicare. Write the blog post, write the social media post, write the ad driving to the blog post, and it does it in literally seconds, JR. Like, it's absolutely wild how much content it can create based on my knowledge and based on what I've fed it before. So
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's exciting stuff. So
have you played around with Notebook LM?
No, I haven't played around with Notebook LM. What's that?
So I think I might have sent it to you in the very beginning. I went and downloaded our purchase and sale agreement. The whole contract. And I threw it into Notebook Element, which is Google.
Okay.
And it turned it into a podcast.
Wow.
Where this woman and this man talked to each other. And it was really, actually, that was impressive because I realized what a great way to walk through what the contract says.
Amazing. I love that.
And it was very accurate. But then this morning I actually have there's a court case I have access to, and I threw the court case in there. It was so heavy on the tenant side. It was silly. Like,
gotcha.
Even when it was actually the court case turned out the landlord was a winner.
Nice.
But Notebook LM came out like, oh no, the landlord's evil and they did so many wrong things. That's hilarious because I actually talked to a lawyer after that to see what he thought. He goes, oh no. The landlord was they won. They dominated. It wasn't even close.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
So crazy. It's getting there.
Yeah.
Like there are some applications I think, yeah, we're there, but I don't think it doesn't, a lot of the AI now doesn't handle this stuff.
No.
At all.
Yeah.
It's got a long way to go for that.
AI is really advanced pattern matching. That's what the AI is that we're experiencing now with like these language models and how it can turn into audio and, you know, do those kinds of things. It's really pattern matching on a very advanced scale.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's really, you can't really replicate a conversation yet based on what it knows and understands. And because it's pattern matching, I'm not worried about it really gaining a mind of its own because it'll always be pattern matching. So I could be, you know, completely naive in thinking it won't get there, but yeah.
But
so
it doesn't seem to have the same emotional.
Zeros. It's still zeros and ones. At the end of the day, AI is just zeros and ones. You know, it's pattern matching.
And this is where my foil hat gets put on. Because I don't know if you've ever been driving and either your car stopped working for some weird reason, or it worked for some reason. Because I've been in both situations where there was no explanation for why the car stopped working. I was also in a time right over here by the Burger King on Eureka out there. My car just stopped working.
Wow.
We pulled over, and this is weird. This is a crazy story.
Yeah.
So we pull over. I mean, we had to pull over, and we pushed it into the Burger King parking lot because the car died. And we're looking, and we can't figure out, like, try to start it. Nothing's working. And then my friend says, why don't we pray for it? I go, okay.
Nice.
And we pray for it, and the car starts. And I call the mechanic and say, are you available? Because something's wrong with my car. Drive there. And he opens, he goes, how did you get the car started? I was like, why? He goes, your cables aren't even connected to anything.
Wow.
It's like, what? So I don't know. I don't know why it started. I don't know.
Praise
I don't
God.
get it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like sometimes we've had car problems that somehow all of a sudden resolve themselves. AI is a bit mechanical as well.
Yes.
So if something spiritual attaches itself to it, I think that's where the game can get a little wonky.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how all that works, but that's where my tinfoil hat goes. All right, what could happen there?
Well, there's nothing that has been created that the Lord cannot change or manipulate, because he is the creator of all. And so even the things that we create, he can manipulate.
Yeah.
Right? He can influence. So even a Tesla. So,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, there is as much, cause and concern for it to do evil as much as there is for hope and optimism that it will do great.
Right.
So, I know of somebody who is he's working on programming an AI to as an evangelism tool. And so it's like, what questions do you have about God? Mm-hmm. And the whole idea is to get the person to really engage with the bot, ask questions, and the bot will ask questions to the person doing it. And the whole idea is to get the person to see that the Lord is real and the Lord loves them. Mm-hmm. And so using a slightly, maybe a very different, even offensive way to some people that are like AI is evil. Well, in this case, we're trying to use AI for good, and have a conversation that leads a person to going, well, gosh, maybe I should crack open my Bible and see what it says about this, right? So there's a lot of really cool use cases for AI as well. Like
I think there could be an ability for somebody to create an AI real estate advisor on general topics.
Yeah.
But like with this client we just worked with,
oh my goodness,
there would have been, I don't know how AI would have figured that out.
Yeah.
No. Because it was not logical.
No. Yeah. AI will not replace the real estate agent.
Like you saw the text I just sent you.
Yeah.
And I was laughing because I thought he was joking.
Yeah.
But AI would never have picked it up.
No. Yeah. That was, Our transaction was unique. And a challenge, and AI could not have figured it out. So praise God.
Because there was no pattern.
No.
Like honestly, no patterns to that. Yeah. I have never seen people.
All the rules were broken.
Yeah, they didn't follow any pattern.
Yeah.
Like what? So just so people have context to this, it was like we wrapped a present for them, put a very valuable gift inside, and then had a band with trumpets deliver it to them and say, congratulations, you won the award. And every time we did that, they thought we cursed them.
Yeah.
It was all opposite.
Yeah.
They played the opposite game on us.
Yeah. It was a wild experience. And the way you put it is really good. In this case, the buyer felt like every single time that we were trying to make the process easier, trying to protect everyone involved, they immediately were looking at it as a negative thing.
Yeah.
And so that was very difficult for us to kind of figure out, like, how are we supposed to respond to some of these allegations, because they came out of left field. They didn't really make sense.
Yeah.
So in that case.
And it was a win for them. Like we intentionally go, well, let's just make it a win for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wild. Wild experience. So if it was a different business deal, I probably would have walked away a couple of different times.
Oh, we tried to.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's a lot of stories for sure. Stories that will live on in infamy in our household. So about what happened with this. But
that was hilarious. Yeah. Actually. And then they get that text today.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So crazy times. So JR, as you look at, we've been talking about AI, we've been talking about, New York City, as if you were called to New York City and you felt like you were supposed to start there, knowing what you know after living in Hong Kong and everything that's going on, how would you approach building community out there?
Oh, the Dream Builder games.
Nice.
Period. The end. I would also start a school.
Okay. Wow.
I'd actually start a school. I'd do exactly those two things.
Nice.
And then the third part is I would probably build with the Dream Builder games, with a school, the Wilberforce School of Future Leaders.
Nice.
Do you know who William Wilberforce is?
No.
Oh, crazy enough. This is the guy that helped stop slavery.
Oh, wow.
Besides Jesus, he's ranked as the number 2 person with the most influence in history.
Wow.
Nobody knows about him.
Yeah. Crazy.
But anyway, so I would do the Dream Builder games because it would be an amazing. I think the modern day church is craving the Dream Builder games.
Yeah.
It's a weekly way for us to practically build something, create community, have forward momentum, and have a contribution to society, but as a group of friends that meet regularly, like our jobs. Our jobs are our businesses. We build things there, but having super intentional, like we're growing all together.
Love it.
That would be the first. And then a school, because I believe kids, we have to create something different than the current school systems. We're going to keep training our kids to become atheists who have no power. They're going to be victims.
Yeah.
What I see in Asia right now, like all of Asia, is because you've taken God or you've replaced God with these false things that they don't give you power. They might give you power, but they don't give you wisdom. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
They don't give you wisdom. And without wisdom, you're going to screw up all the time because you're going to think you're doing something the right way, but you're going to go the wrong path.
Right.
So I think a school that taught a lot of wisdom. Those are the 2 things I would do.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it.
But that might be my personality too.
Yeah. Well, that's why I asked, because I feel like those are the things that really, I don't want to say come naturally to you, but I think you've carved those paths before.
Yeah.
And so the next time you do it, you're like, okay, I remember this journey. I remember doing this before.
Yeah.
So.
And my role right now is I'm a real estate agent. That's all I am. I'm just a real estate agent.
Yeah.
But
a darn good one too.
But what I feel an obligation as a real estate agent, and that's why people hear about me talking about rescuing kids, and is I feel like we as Americans, we've been given this incredible position in life.
Oh yeah.
Incredible. And we don't realize it because we live it.
Right.
It's like asking a famous celebrity's kids, what's it like living in the famous celebrity's house? They don't know.
Right.
They have no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So Americans are a bit like that. So I feel like one of my obligations is, yes, we have been blessed beyond measure. There are people I personally know who are on the front lines, who are doing incredible work. I want to make them famous. So
Nice.
if I can use my real estate business to help make them famous, that's kind of like one of my goals too.
Love that. Well,
And then hopefully, like in places where we have been so crazy blessed, we can say, oh, you mean $50 a month would change a child's destiny forever? Yeah. Oh, count me in.
Yeah.
That kind
Love
of thing.
that. Yeah.
So, but yeah, if I were to go to New York, I would dive hard into the Dream Builder games
Nice.
and watch that thing build a community of people who are all growing together in the same direction. Maybe even not building the same things, but they all know they're building stuff.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, because that's what New York City is all about. It's about following your dreams, building it out. Whether you're there for business or Broadway or the many other different avenues where you can see success in New York, unlike any other place in the world.
Right.
We're all about celebrating each other there. It's very collaborative. It might be more competitive, I think, if you're going for like the same role in Broadway or if you're building the same business, but I haven't experienced that. So, but I have a kind of a weird niche business. So, in my experience, the people I meet are like, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Which is so cool. So, that's awesome.
Well, what's interesting is you have this 1% rule. I have a personal 1% rule. So I'm in the top 1% in real estate. And when you're in the top 1%, like a kid that goes to Harvard, and anybody who gets accepted at school is in the top 1.1% of all high school graduates who got accepted. So you're at Harvard and you're the top 1% of all the kids in America. But in Harvard, maybe you're in the the bottom 10% in grades.
Yeah.
And you feel like a failure.
Yeah.
See, that's possibly how New York can make you feel.
100%. When I lived in Reading, I felt like a superstar because I was growing this really cool technology company. And then I moved to New York City and I'm like the teeny tiny goldfish at the bottom of the pond. Like I'm nobody in New York City, And so, But, you know, I come from a swimming background. I was a competitive swimmer for a long time. And my best matches, my best times were when I was neck and neck with second place, or when I was getting beat and I wanted to really push myself.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm crushing the person that's next to me and I'm like a mile ahead, my times were horrible.
Yeah.
Because I would let up, right? So there's a hunger that arises in me when I'm in New York City and I see that I'm one of the smallest people, because my competitive nature says there's so much more that I can push out, because I can see other people, you know, pushing even harder than I was. And I didn't even know I had that extra level until I saw them reaching that extra level. And I go, oh, I can totally do that. And it's not about the hours.
No, it's not.
It's about how smart am I working, and how am I leveraging the resources that I have? Because most of the time, working harder just means being more resourceful. It doesn't mean using more hours. It's just about like, how can I connect with someone that can help me get to the next level, rather than how am I going to work myself into the ground trying to get to the next level? Like, who's there that I can serve that can lift me up to their level?
Yeah, about a year ago, I discovered there is a God in this country called hard work. Mm-hmm. Hard work's great. It'll get you there. And I know a lot of good friends who use hard work to their advantage, and they do great. The replacement of that is diligence.
Yeah.
The same way that knowledge and wisdom are different, diligence and hard work are different. And diligence means, God, you're going to give me business, and when I get it, I'm going to work my butt off to do to get it. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to be diligent when you give me the work.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is excellence.
Yes.
And so there's another God out there, and it's good enough.
Yeah.
And I realized, man, there's a lot of good enough.
Yeah.
And that actually I got that from the Lord's Prayer. Lead us not into temptation. So God blesses you, and it's nice, and it's good enough.
Yeah.
Lead us not into the temptation of good enough. Help me to get to excellence. And so that was the second thing. And then the last one was wisdom. And wisdom is, like right now, AI has all the knowledge it needs. It has no wisdom.
Correct.
So I agree. I think if you could go to New York and have a tribe of people who say, all right, let's break this God of hard work and let's replace it with diligence.
Yeah.
And let's show off. Let's show excellence in everything we do, and then let's show the wisdom part. Mm-hmm. I think that would be an amazing example, because with that comes that rest.
Yes. Yes. And the rest is so important. New York doesn't know rest.
Right.
You know? So, yeah. And you can see the fruits of not having rest. Unfortunately, you know, when you just observe the people around me that are doing amazingly well on the business side,
right?
But you see the result of them not having rest and not having contentment, because you can strive for more, but you can also be in a place of contentment.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's contentment is like a dirty word in New York City, at least in where I'm at with the people that I'm running with. You know, they don't want to feel contentment. You know, so. So for me, I've been, you know, really working on rediscovering contentment in New York City. I feel like I had it in Reading, and then as soon as I got into New York and got in the flow, I'm like, oh wait, hold on a second. I lost some things while I got out here. You know, I lost my contentment, and I still have rest, but I can feel that slipping. Like I feel it wanting to leave me and wanting to dive back into the hard work mentality. So. Every city has its challenges and its strengths, and the challenges in New York is not finding contentment. So.
Well, especially if you're a top 1% player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like anybody who's a top 1% player is going to go to New York, because, like, dude, if I'm going to be in the top 1% wherever I go, why not go to New York?
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you want to be, and so I can see that drive to be that top, because you'll end up being there. Mm-hmm. I've discovered it didn't matter what field I go into, I will always jump to the top 1%. It's just, if that's your nature, it's your nature.
Yeah.
So I can see, personally, if I moved to New York, even my time in Hong Kong, super the ambition thing, man. I just loved it. Yeah.
It pushes you to a new gear that you'll always have now for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
you know, and that's a good thing. It's like when you push past whatever is keeping you at your level, and you push past it to the next level, whether that's hard work, whether that's diligence, whether that's rest, you always can find your way back to that level, even if you lose it. So for me, rest.
Yeah.
I was losing that in New York City, but I'm like, wait a minute, I know how to get there. I've been there before. And so I just got to find my way back, in my heart and in my spirit, to go back to the place of rest and not, jump into the rushing waves of hard work, which are so easy to go with the flow in New York City. But it's the same with hard work. A lot of people that I know in New York City, they said, man, I didn't know what hard work was until I got to New York City. And because they were going at the flow of where they were before. And there is nothing wrong with going as hard as you possibly can in a place where that hard work is not demonstrated. You're doing the very best that you're able to witness others do. But then when you get to a place where other people are better, then you go, okay, I got to find a new gear here. I got to find something, and that's true in athletics too. Like, I know one of my friends was pursuing a basketball career. He was the very best in his city, but then he went to go and he joined a club basketball league, started getting dominated because those guys were way better. But he found that gear. He was like, I can get as good as these guys are now that I'm around it. Yeah. It's the same in business. A lot of times we just don't know what we're missing out on until we get around people who are doing it at a higher level than we are.
Exactly. Yeah. Man, I'm excited for our next season.
Yeah.
Dream Builder. So
Dream
let's
Builder's
figure
New York.
it out.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out. I know I have to go, but man, I'm so excited for you guys.
Thank you, JR.
And I love that we get to go through this journey. And it's hilarious. Like, there's been some hilarious stuff.
Yeah.
Working with this specific buyer was, wow.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
It was an incredible experience that I never have to go through again. I pray all the other transactions
I have
are
had
easy.
33 years of real estate. This is the first time I ever have that type of client. Now, I have to say, real estate is different every transaction.
Yeah.
But this was so unique.
Well, you did a great job. Thank you so much for protecting our family through this.
Oh, it was a
really, that was
blast.
the biggest thing. Was I felt very protected in a situation that had a lot of animosity.
And hats off to you guys, because you guys are, and I've known this for the times we work together, is you guys are problem solvers, not problem inflators. And so I really appreciate people who go, all right, that's our problem. How do we get through this?
Yeah.
And I appreciate about you guys. You guys are amazing.
Oh, thank
you handled it really well. Great representation of Jesus. And I know that New York is blessed to have you.
Awesome. Thank you, JR.
Good times.
Yep.
All right, we did it.
Woohoo.